Hello, and welcome to the Odyssey Lesson 9 Socratic Seminar. In our previous lessons, we learned about the main characters in Book 1 of the Odyssey by Homer and the conflicts that they face. Today, we will create a series of literal and interpretive questions that focus on the events and characters in Book 1. We will also explore characterization and thematic topics through class discussion. And we'll finish it up with answering the question, how does great literature reflect life? To complete this lesson, you will need your copy of the Odyssey, your completed Book 1 handout that was posted back in Lesson 6, the Levels of Inquiry handout posted in this lesson, the Conversation Stems handout posted back on August 31st with the Lesson 1 material for Fahrenheit 451, and your reading response journal that's attached to this lesson. To prepare for the class discussion, we're going to write levels of questions on a Google Doc that you create. We're going to begin with Level 1, the literal level. So let's look at the Levels of Inquiry handout. In preparation for your class discussion, you're going to discuss in small groups the connections between the characters' responses to conflict and themes in the epic. A man named Arthur Costa devised 3 levels of questions to think deeply about concepts. You're going to prepare for the whole group discussion by practicing writing and answering Level 1, or literal questions, Level 2, inferential questions, and Level 3, or abstract questions. Be sure that you choose a Level 1 question that will lead to a thematic question. Level 1 questions ask about literal facts from the text. They are concrete. They have answers that could be highlighted in the text. They might use the questions might use verbs like define, describe, identify, list, name, observe, recite, or they could ask who, what, when, where, why, and how. Such as, what is Telemachus doing when Mentis appears? And the answer to that is, when Mentis appears at the palace, Telemachus is passively sitting among the suitors, heart obsessed with grief, daydreaming about Odysseus coming home to run the intruders out. Building on that, we have the Level 2, or inferential questions. They involve drawing conclusions from multiple parts of the text, and they tend to use verbs like analyze, compare, contrast, group, infer, sequence, or synthesize. An example of this could be, why won't Telemachus correct the suitors? And the answer would be, because the suitors are constantly swaggering about, and the reader can infer that Telemachus is intimidated by them. Both of these types of questions are different from the Level 3, or abstract questions. Abstract questions don't mention the text itself, because abstract questions, or Level 3 questions, are universal and thematic. They tend to use verbs like apply, evaluate, hypothesize, imagine, judge, predict, or speculate. Or they could ask why questions about the human condition. For example, and note, this one doesn't mention any of the characters, it doesn't mention the text in the question. When the odds are stacked against us, how do we sometimes react? And the answer to this in this case would be, Telemachus feels so defeated by the large number of suitors in his home that he has resolved that not only will they bleed his household white, but they will also grind him down as well. So now you're going to work on your literal question. And I want you to look through your Book 1 handout to review the plot details of the story. As you write your level 1 questions, I want you to focus on the characters' conflicts and reactions to these conflicts. As you write your answers, be sure to integrate textual evidence into your response. Also, don't forget to cite your evidence. If you look at that bottom row, see how it's cited with the book and line number? Level 1 questions are literal and usually begin with who, what, when, or where. You must incorporate textual evidence into your answers. I'm going to give you about 8 minutes to think of a few level 1 questions. Now I want you to write a level 2 question and answer it beneath your level 1 question. I want you to be sure to draw from your level 1 question topic to write your level 2 question. Remember that these questions are inferential and will involve reading between the lines. The answers couldn't necessarily be highlighted in the text. And you must incorporate textual evidence into your answers. I'm going to give you about 6 minutes to come up with one level 2 question. Now I want you to write a level 3 question and answer. And as you do this, be sure to draw from your level 1 and 2 question topics to write your level 3 question. Remember that these questions are thematic in nature and will not reference the text itself. But remember that although the thematic question will not involve the text itself, you still must incorporate textual evidence into the answers. I'm going to give you about 6 minutes to complete this question. And now we will discuss. We're going to begin with the level 2 questions and work up to the level 3 questions. Each person will get an opportunity to have their level 2 questions and level 3 questions addressed. While this is going on, I want you to go open up the reading response journal and scroll down to an empty page of it. You might have to press enter to get to an empty page. And I want you to take notes in your reading response journal entry for today. Now in your reading response journal, and if we don't have time to finish in class, it is for homework, I want you to respond to the following question. How does great literature reflect life? Be sure to include textual evidence. You're going to want to draw from your class discussion notes as you write. Congratulations! You have completed Lesson 9 of the Odyssey unit. In this lesson, you created a series of literal and interpretive questions about Book 1 of the Odyssey. You also explored characterization and theme through class discussion.